Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Swamp! Swamp stands for some whack-ass movie podcasting, which is hopefully what we will be accomplishing or not accomplishing today.
Up to you to decide.
So each week we are going to pick a movie, watch said movie, and then talk about that movie. Mm-hmm. It might be good and it might not be. We're going to share some hot takes, some cold takes, some lukewarm takes, maybe.
Certainly.
A wide variety of different temperature takes on different movies. If there's ever any movies that you want us to cover, feel free to direct message us on social media. We can be found both on Instagram and Twitter at The Swamp Pod. So today we will be discussing the 2004 animated film The Incredibles by Pixar Studios, owned by Disney. So we've watched the movie prior to filming this, and now we're going to talk about it a little bit. But to introduce myself, my name is Dara. I have little to no credentials to talk about anything on any sort of platform, yet here I am.
And I'm Emily. I also have exactly 0 credentials, but you know what? We're going to give it a shot.
And I just think that in times of personal, national, and global crisis, it is often works of media, movies, television that we turn to in solace. So, considering the degree of chaos and the levels of destruction, both personally, nationally, and globally, I think it's more than appropriate that we watch some fucking movies, have a cocktail, and spew some bullshit out into the world.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And if you choose to listen past this point,
you're bold.
Yeah, thanks for joining us on this wild ride. So we're gonna jump right into it and talk about The Incredibles. So, I can't remember the last time I watched this movie, but it definitely, it's not like I haven't watched it since I was a child. I definitely have watched it since I was a child, but I think that this is the first time watching it that I realized that this doesn't take place in the present day or the future or whatever, and looking it up, that it's in the 60s makes sense because of, what their house looks like and the way people are dressed, I guess. It's not too heavy-handed, but watching it, I was like, wait, this has to be, a specific time period. And obviously, it's, alternate reality time period because they're superheroes or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I guess they did specifically have 1962 in mind when filming this movie, when creating, animating, storyboarding, I don't know. But I thought that was, a more adult observation that I had that obviously I would not have picked up as a child. But, what the fuck? Why... Is there segregation? When Mr. Incredible and Frozone are going to the bowling alley, are they going to a segregated bowling alley? Does Frozone have to bowl in the back of the...
Is it separate lanes?
Is it chill that they're friends? Is he just really progressive? Because the first note I had was Mr. Incredible definitely voted for Trump. He loves the cops. He's a white man. He loves having privilege.
I would call him a bootlicker.
Yeah. But he has a black friend, and so I'm like, well, I guess that's really progressive considering it's 1962.
He's the only black person in the entire movie that I can even remember seeing either.
I agree, because I was trying to spot some background characters, because I'm like, okay, well, is there going to be a scene where people drink from the same water fountain? Because then we'll know, where this movie stands on historical accuracy. But he's definitely, we don't even see his wife.
No.
I don't even know if it's implied that she's any particular race. We just know her name and her voice, but we don't even see her. Speaking of women, would you consider this movie to be a feminist text?
No.
Originally, I would say yes, because Elastigirl slaps, but then my answer was a hard no when their super suits have high heels.
Yeah, why is Violet, who can't be more than 13 or 14 years old, in heels? I can't see that being good for crime fighting, but maybe that's just me. I'm not a superhero.
I don't want to blame Edna, because she can do no wrong, but come on, girl, let's get some running sneakers. Let's get some nice insoles.
I can tell she's for the fashion, which I appreciate.
Could do a chunky platform at best. If you're trying to elevate the look, you know, it doesn't have to be a go-go boot.
Put him in some Doc Martens or something.
Violet, I think Violet's little outfit would really do with some Doc Martens.
Yeah,
I think
Violet,
that would fit her aesthetic.
Yeah. Give her like 3 or 4 years, she's definitely going to be rocking some Doc Martens.
I think this movie is really good representation for preteen girls who liked to wear their hair over their face.
Oh yeah.
I felt really validated as a child in this movie.
I felt seen.
Yeah, for sure. They have a bunch of like superheroes in the audience at their wedding, which like leads us to believe that they have a lot of super friends. And then there's that scene where he's like, oh no, everyone I know is dead. We don't keep up with them anymore because the government is oppressing us. Is this movie about oppression? Are they privileged or are they oppressed? What is the stance here?
Is there no segregation in this parallel universe? Because it's the superheroes that are being oppressed. I don't know. Well, Dash said the same thing.
Oh, and he's like, I'll do sports and I'll just be better than everyone only by a little bit. And she's like, no, you can't do that. He seemed to have the self-restraint to be able to let him play, I don't know, soccer or something. What's a sport where you don't really have to run a lot? Basketball?
Yeah.
Swim? Make him swim? I don't know.
Yeah, he could swim. I mean, he could play
if anybody in this
tennis.
film... Bowling? Shit. Ice figure skating?
Yeah, what sport is going to make Dash have to actually work to be good?
Water polo.
Yeah.
Do they have junior water polo, though? I don't...
Probably not.
But I think
hockey?
The real oppressed one here is Dash. And I want to know, like, are they the only born superheroes? Are there other superheroes who have kids? Are there other super kids?
I mean, everyone's dead, honestly.
Yeah, if all the superheroes are dead and they never bred with each other, would their kids have had superheroes if they had married a non-super person? Like Frozone? Is Frozone's wife a superhero? We don't know, but if they have a baby, is it going to be a super baby? Is it going to be half and half? Is it only going to have a little bit of powers? Like a lame power?
What if one of their kids has a superpower and then the other one doesn't? Can you imagine how...
Well, because they assume that Jack does not have powers, so maybe it's just a luck of the draw. Were these superheroes born or were they made? Because does Elastigirl have super parents, and do her parents have super parents, and is there a long lineage of super people who have been exclusively breeding with other super people to make super-powered people?
I want to know why they just figure that Jack doesn't have any superpowers whatsoever.
Well...
he's literally an infant, and they're just like, oh, he doesn't have any superpowers. Like, what, when the other two were born, made them say, like, at a very young age, oh, yes, they have superpowers. Well, and how far behind is Jack for them to assume that they don't have it?
I would say that Elastigirl, with her powers... The birthing process was probably so easy. She just opens that cavern right up, and the fetus crawls out. And Dash crawled so fast out, they had to catch him. And they're like, oh, super baby, this one's fast. Violet, I don't know, maybe she was invisible, she wasn't there, and they had to crawl, so a doctor had to crawl inside, poke around a little bit, and they're like, oh... We found it, it's just invisible.
Are there doctors that specialize in superhero,
super pussy OBGYNs? Where do we draw the line here in this fictional universe of what the extent of this super universe is? Because they obviously have special physical needs. If they just go to a regular doctor, they can't help. They don't study that in medical school. Does Elastigirl have bones?
Another great question. I mean...
Do her bones stretch? Is she boneless?
What if she doesn't have bones? What's keeping her in place? You know what I mean?
Is she constantly having to flex as hard as she can to keep herself from not stretching? These are the real questions. She's so tired
all the time.
And honestly, she doesn't have a job, it seems. It seems that she kind of has a stay-at-home mom thing, which she does have an infant baby and 2 other kids, which kind of makes sense, and I guess it is the 60s. But she shows in the movie that she has the skills of a war pilot, an Air Force pilot. Why is she not a commercial airline pilot? These superheroes seem to have other marketable skills where Mr. Incredible working at an insurance agency, bro, you could probably fuck up a construction site,
right?
Be your own landscaping company. These superheroes, they're like, oh, we have to be in hiding. That doesn't mean you have to be fucking lame.
Exactly. I just want to know where she got her training prior to this and how she knows how to fly jets and planes, because I think it was definitely the Korean War.
I think rather than the pretty lame Incredibles sequel that they put out, it should have been a prequel.
Yes.
I want to know the background. I want to know the backstory. Are these superheroes employed by the military?
Is Elastigirl a war criminal?
Are they weaponized?
Did Mr. Incredible fight in the war?
Commit war crimes? Probably.
Did they all? Is there a superhero draft for the war?
Is that why they are being oppressed by their government? Presently? Is there more of a history to this than we are led to believe? Obviously, these themes are not fit for a kid's movie, but I can't help but ask these questions.
As you should.
Since it is the 60s, I just had to think that the assassination of JFK could have easily been prevented with the ability of these superheroes. And not only by just these superheroes, but whatever privatized company is in charge of all of the evilness, destruction-y, what have yous. Those guns that shoot the balls that grow and metallic. Yeah. Come on, you're telling me you couldn't have stopped Lee Harvey Oswald with that shit?
I mean, just if someone... Okay, because here's the other thing, is not every single superpower or superhero is like bound to have a unique power. Like, some of them are bound to like double up and have like pretty similar powers as well. Why couldn't they have just got someone like Violet who can just throw up a force field in the Secret Service? They wouldn't even need to employ like anyone else, just the one. Do you know how much less money that would cost anyone?
And it seems in the beginning of the movie that Mr. Incredible is pretty buddy-buddy with the cops, you know? He's like, oh, hey, it's me again, doing your job for you. And they're like, thanks, pal. You know, it seems to be a pretty cooperative situation. And when things go wrong, rather than the government being like, oh, we're gonna put you all into fucking witness protection program and make you hide. No, you just capture them, take them as, like, prisoners and make them work against their will, put them in the military, put them in the CIA, the Secret Service. I don't know, why not?
There are just so many more uses than, like, just letting them roam free, almost, you know what I mean?
Right, because...
And maybe that's shit to say, like, oh, let's harness their powers and not let them be people, but it's also, like...
You're just telling them, like, hey, superheroes, don't be super anymore, go live your lives and work at the insurance agency, and you're just trusting that they're gonna do that. What are the repercussions if they break that rule?
Nothing.
They don't have to abide by the laws?
Yeah, well, you saw it. They just go and they rehome them, like, however many times they want or whatever. Like, he was, what was it? After Bob threw his boss through, like, 4 walls or something like that, the guy from the agency was sitting there and he's like, we can't keep doing this, Bob. This is like the last time we can rehome you or something like that. Like, what happens if they just don't? I mean, you saw, nothing happened.
Yeah.
They didn't rehome.
Mr. Incredible could kill anyone on sight. So what are the laws here? What are the rules?
He said that they could just, like, go and erase memories as well for all the people that were working in the firm when they saw it. So, movie 2 takes place, what, maybe like a couple of years, like maybe
is it immediately after? Yeah, because it starts with the Underminer.
The Underminer.
And it's, basically immediately after. Honestly, I think that I appreciate that more than a time jump. More than them being like, Violet is a young woman now. Like, that was gonna go so wrong so many ways.
Another, like, 1960s thing, questioning why they didn't do what they did or didn't do. The space race.
They have a rocket!
There's multiple rockets.
They didn't zoom up. What is this privatized company that is dishing out these superhero killing machines, and why aren't they? It doesn't even matter if they're gonna help the government. Do it for yourself. Do it for money. This bitch had an iPad. It's 1962, and she had an iPad. Like, okay, Steve Jobs, step it up, market that shit, change the world, but I don't know. I guess they gotta keep it a secret for some reason.
I feel like rewatching it, as an adult, like, really made me question how I watched it as a kid, because I just, like, saw so much that I didn't even, like, my brain didn't even pick up on as an 8-year-old child. But, like, the movie fully starts out with a man trying to kill himself jumping off of a building. I don't think I even knew what suicide was. Like, at that point, I was just like, what's going on? Oh, God. Mr. Incredible, up to your bullshit, like...
And definitely a lot of the really heavy-handed, adultery references and themes when Elastigirl is, like, wondering where Mr. Incredible is going. What are these quote-unquote business trips he's going on? And Edna being like, do you know where he is? You know, very much like, oh, your husband's cheating on... But obviously she knows he's doing super shit. So I feel like that's another thing as an adult. I'm like, oh yeah, they're trying to pull it off like the movie trope. Like, I know my husband's cheating, but I just can't prove it.
Well, the movie is just entirely, like, so horny as well.
Oh my god, the fetishization of Elastigirl that has happened in society post-Incredibles is just not okay. This movie, I wouldn't say it's the horniest Disney movie, but it's pretty horny.
Yeah. I'd rate it like a 6.5 out of 10 on the horny scale.
She has no business being that thick, and you know it's by choice.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. You saw her flatten to the size of, like, what is it? Like the size of a sheet of paper.
Yeah, honestly, which stays pretty inconsistent throughout the movie, how far she can and cannot stretch.
That's true.
I will note. I would say that this movie is setting very unrealistic body expectations for women. Maybe Elastigirl should kind of make herself look a little bit more normal, so then Violet will have, realistic beauty expectations. You're kind of setting a weird precedent here, Elastigirl.
Yeah.
Nobody has any business being that thick.
The Kardashians don't even do it like that.
The Kardashians are often credited with popularizing the fat ass in, beauty standards,
yes.
but I do think it
Elastigirl,
Mrs. Incredible. When people call her Mrs. Incredible, that's kind of fucked. Because,
she has her own identity.
Yeah, she's not just Mr. Incredible's hot wife.
She's still Elastigirl. It's not like did she ever actually change her name? She shouldn't have. If she did, that's pretty...
Well, they don't call fucking Violet and Dash, like, Boy Incredible and Daughter Incredible.
Yeah.
They just were named by their parents things that reflected their powers, which I guess was kind of cheesy. When they call him Dashel, what the fuck was that about?
I want to know if they knew before they named him if he had powers, or they just decided, you know what? We're gonna go for it. We're just gonna call this kid Dashel.
Well, when he zooms out the uterus.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Of the Elasticavern, he definitely, they were like, shit, well, we were gonna call him Samuel, but we're gonna have to call him Dashel. And I guess Violet is a little more like it. Honestly, if you're in 4th grade and your name is Dash, you're getting bullied. Like,
you think?
That's probably just a fact.
I feel like Dash is
Dashel. When the teacher is saying attendance and they're like, Dashel.
Yeah.
I would bully that kid.
Yeah.
But Violet, at least that's like a reference to her powers while also still being a pretty normal and legit name.
Yeah, it's very subtle.
I remember as a kid, I always really liked the little Disney shorts that they would do before Pixar movies. They would have like the little shorts in the theater, and not for this one, but for whatever Pixar movie came out after this one, the little short before was what happened with the babysitter and Jack, and it's all like, him catching on fire and turning into different things or whatever, like the little animated short. So I feel like I liked that one when I was a kid. Gives you a little insight. That poor babysitter. How old could she have been? She was
15,
like 16 at most. She had braces. Poor girl. And they're pissed that she, like, called a different service or whatever. The fucking house was on fire. I would have ditched. I would have been bye. Fend for yourself, fire baby.
Like, how much trauma do you think she has to deal with after the fact? Like, I hope she's got a really good therapist.
She should sue. Honestly, all those people that sued the superheroes at the beginning of the movie,
they're
valid.
Not wrong. They're
valid.
Not wrong.
Yeah, I stand by them.
I mean, what would you do if, you just had your neck broke? I mean, Mr. Incredible fully caused that entire train wreck or something like that.
Millions and millions of dollars of property damage were dealt in this movie. If the superheroes are regarded as anything other than domestic terrorists after all of this, genuinely, I don't have anything to say about this alternate reality because the military needs to step in.
Oh, 100%.
What?
I mean, how much of these people's, like, tax dollars are going to repairs?
Mr. Incredible, do you pay for DPW? I don't think so. The people who are gonna have to clean up the rubble from your big fight so you could feel like a man again.
Also, I just think that if Mr. Incredible had just let Syndrome, as a boy, just blow up, everything would have been fine.
this is kind of like a, would you go back in time and kill baby Hitler situation? Do you think maybe if Mr. Incredible had a friend whose superpower was like they could see the future or some shit, and they're like, hey, you should murder that child because things sure are gonna go downhill in the future. Do you think he would kill this, 9-year-old boy, or do you think he would just let it slide? Because I guess in the end, the presence of this villain is what brings his family together. But, does Mr. Incredible have the balls to murder a child?
Yes, 100%.
Oh, really? I don't think he could do it.
You don't think so?
The bad press.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, I don't even know. Okay, first of all, he could certainly spin it and be like, I didn't know he had a bomb on him in like that certain scenario, in that one scenario. If he had to sit down and confront this kid and just like break his neck, probably not. But, I mean, like you saw, like there's like blatant disregard for human life by Mr. Incredible. Like, do you know how many people, like, he kills throughout the movie and just walks on by? Like...
Yeah, their necks are broken. And honestly, the guys who are guarding this facility, who seem to be goons, they maybe have a wife and kids. They're just trying to pay the bills and get through the end of the day. And just because, that they are working for an evil corporation, I mean, shit, don't we all work for evil corporations? If Mr. Incredible...
That's capitalism, babe.
Yeah, Mr. Incredible is just gonna fucking come up and murder anyone who's carrying a gun, but he loves the police. Kind of a double standard, if you ask me.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, no, I think, well, because that's the thing. There's blatant disregard for human life, but also there was that one scene where he's got Mirage, like, in a chokehold or whatever, and Syndrome's like, do it, I dare you. And he's just a pussy about it, and he just lets her go, which, mind you, she has done, like... Actually, did she do any favors for him before that?
Not really before, but she certainly does after, and Syndrome is like, yeah, murder this bitch on sight. I don't fucking care. And then afterwards, she obviously helps Mr. Incredible. Why the fuck didn't he take care of her? Like... You basically say to her face, I don't give a fuck if you live or die. And then you just think she's still gonna be on your side after that? Okay, Syndrome. He kind of has, like, incel, where is my hug energy.
Oh, 100%.
And I just think that maybe if he had, like, gotten laid in high school or something, all of this would have taken care of itself.
Yeah.
He could have been, like, a Silicon Valley tech guy and... not had all of these ego issues.
Yeah, no. He definitely... Did him and Mirage fuck?
Definitely not.
Yeah. As much as she seems like his assistant, she's definitely got, like, the power in that dynamic to a degree.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
what is her position? What is her title? Hot bitch in charge?
Officially, she just got, like, a name plaque on her desk. Just surrounded by walls of lava.
So, you were talking about certain things that you noticed watching this movie as an adult, but I was also noticing a lot of things that, like, really stuck distinctly in my memory as a child. When you watch a movie and you, like, weird details that you just can't, like, shake from your brain. Like, we were talking about the scene with the blob gun.
Oh, yeah, no, I think everyone had nightmares. Every child that watched this movie had nightmares about the blobs after the fact. I feel like that's an undisputed
it's terrifying.
Universal fact.
It's like a big room where all the guns come out from every direction in the wall and like enclose on him.
Definitely watching it too, you certainly start to feel like you're like the air's getting sucked out of you, like with the way it's animated, I suppose. Which for a child is horrifying.
I wouldn't say that this movie isn't kid friendly, because I think it was probably one of the most successful films from our childhood. I feel like it's well regarded as a lot of people's favorite Pixar movie from that time. But I feel like there are a lot of things that I was like, oh yeah, like that. I definitely remember thinking about that a lot as a kid. In addition to things that probably could have been solved if these superheroes were a little more socially, economically, globally conscious, is I don't really know the extent of Frozone's powers, but can we talk about climate change? Because he sure can just seem to make a lot of ice real quick, bro. There are penguins that are dying. Did they know about climate change in the 60s?
It's 1962, so I'd have to say no. They're blissfully unaware, unfortunately.
If I was Frozone, my first issue to solve probably would be the whole racism in America.
Yeah.
Because he could just murder the whole KKK. He could probably just take out, if they're like, hey, if you're racist, we're gonna murder you, and then everyone would probably be like, okay, we all can ride the bus together.
It's that simple. I just find that Mr. Incredible's silence on the issue is deafening.
So I think that this movie peels back a lot of layers about who the real enemy is. Who is the real bad guy? So initially it's kind of like, okay, this incel who, wants to get an internship and gets denied. He's got some rejection
I like that you
issues.
called it an internship.
He wants to be Mr. Incredible's intern.
Sidekick?
I think he's looking for an unpaid internship, honestly.
Do you think that it's really going to help him with his job opportunities? It shows initiative.
Absolutely. He's looking to...
He's actually just going into the police force.
I think if he had provided some technical assistance, Mr. Incredible really could have done some great things, but...
He made a terrible first impression, that's for sure. And you can't do that for your internship.
The interview did not go well. He came on a little strong. But after this, I'd be pissed too with such a blatant rejection. Mm-hmm. He is the first villain, and you kind of see this like, you didn't take the time to be my mentor, and therefore I'm going to murder you and your whole family situation, I guess, which is taking things a little far, but...
That's a hard right to incel.
Hey, okay. He definitely has that energy of like...
I didn't get what I want, so I'm gonna make things so bad for others.
Yeah. I'm gonna take out my personal grievances on the world. He's like, oh, okay, I didn't get what I wanted when I was 11, so I'm gonna world domination.
Mind you, how much of a grudge do you have to hold? This is 15 years later. Like, he has got to be the most motivated by hate. Like,
if Mr. Incredible had just hired Lil Skippy, what's his name, Buddy? Mm-hmm. If he had hired Incrediboy, if he had accepted him to the super internship program, and we kind of turned some of that negative energy into some productive... He could have been a real, benefit to society.
I mean, he made what I can only assume to be millions of dollars selling weapons and tech to probably fund, I don't know, maybe the Vietnam War or something like that. Because, like, the setup he's got on that island is absurd. He's got an entire island. Like, he's got to be making insane weapons that work incredibly well. Which also, mind you, if these weapons work so well... Is there even still a need for the superheroes at this point? Did he just solve the problem of superheroes without even having to get involved himself?
And why isn't he selling this to the government? Mm-hmm. Or at least a privatized company? I guess he is, but he could militarize an entire country. He could stage a coup.
Yeah.
I guess the goal is he is trying to kill all the superheroes. That is, that is his personal goal, which he has, for the most part, succeeded in up until, the end. But he's kind of the first villain, and then it's kind of peeled back as this, privatized company that's being disguised as a government agency. Why the fuck did Mr. Incredible even trust this in the first place? They're like, oh, we're a government agency that's trying to, destroy these super weapons. Like, that is sketch. Shame on him for not, keeping around a little bit before just diving head first, because it is too good to be true. And also, the government has not protected you for years, Mr. Incredible. And all of a sudden, this secret agency run by a smoking hot woman just wants your help? Yeah, right.
Yeah, no. It just goes to, he was really so incredibly ignorant. Like, his dick was that hard to put his super suit back on that he didn't even stop to think for a split second.
Which is his biggest character flaw, as we see. Honestly, if I was Elastigirl, I would have left his ass. He's selfish. He's not thinking about the family.
Nope.
He could have just been bowling. Just go bowling. You don't need to save a burning building. They look like they live in quite a metropolitan area. You don't think they have a fire department?
I mean, from the jump, too, you see that he's selfish in the way that he's literally late for his wedding because he's getting off so much, on just saving, 5 different people, an hour before he's supposed to get married. Mind you, Elastigirl's doing the same thing, yes, but she can at least be reasonable and reel it in. There are so many other superheroes still at this point that could have been doing the job. but he just refuses and says, no, I have to do it. Like, that's narcissistic.
Fuck Mr. Incredible. We do not stand Mr. Incredible in this house. Hashtag
Nope.
Team Elastigirl. Hashtag women girl boss moment. Give her flat shoes.
I'm begging for them to just give them a little bit of heel support.
Her arches are fucked.
I mean, she can shapeshift to whatever she wants, but poor Violet. Violet's 13 running in some heels. Like,
Her calves are gonna be really toned though. So, you know, that date she's got with Tony, I think it's gonna go well.
That's true. That's a fair point.
But in the end, the ever-present villain throughout everything is AI. You know, the machines get too smart and they want control. I think this movie was quite ahead of its time with the AI villain.
Honestly, yeah, because what was it? It was released in 2004?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, that's insane.
I mean,
I'm sure, like, AI was, like, rocking and rolling back then, but not nearly to the degree that, like, it is today. Like,
the whole concept
whatsoever.
of, you know, machines getting smarter than humans, the humans that built them, I guess that's no new concept, but I think that was kind of the final straw here, where you realize that the villain in the end is the presence of technology, and, you know, these kids on their damn phones.
You sure about that?
No. I just think they should have stopped the JFK assassination, that's all. Okay, so if you could have a superpower, what superpower would you want to have?
I think I'd want to not shapeshift in the way that Elastigirl shapeshifts, but, like, shapeshift into, like, sort of, like, if I wanted to be a pillow, like, just be
Or, like, what's her name in X-Men? Mystique. Jennifer Lawrence.
Does she do that? Is that her?
I mean, she's got blue skin and then she, like, shapeshifts and she looks like Jennifer Lawrence.
Oh,
so.
yeah. She shapes into different people. Actually, that's probably... Yeah, no, that's a lot more useful than being able to shapeshift into objects.
I feel like that'd be pretty cool, though, because...
If you could shapeshift into an object, what would the first thing you would shapeshift into be?
Oh, God. A gun? No, just kidding.
This is like those tests. What is it when you put up a sign? And
Rorschach test.
It's a Rorschach test.
If you shapeshift into a gun, though, do you have the ability to discharge yourself? You know, do you just kind of do a crunch and that's shoots the gun?
I mean, I'd have to assume, but I mean, I'm trying to think. I don't know.
What would be something
What's a
useful?
object?
Yeah,
A vibrator.
A car, maybe. Like, I don't want someone in me like that, though.
It wouldn't be someone in you, you'd be the vibrator.
I meant the car! Shapeshift into a dildo and just see what happens. No, maybe like a piece of food so I could, what it's like to be eaten. That's a little weird.
I don't know.
Maybe just, I want to know what it's like to have a dick, you know? I'd shapeshift into a person with a penis.
Yeah.
And I would, like, jerk off and then pee my name into a bank of snow.
Yeah, all the classic, yeah.
I don't know about object, though. That would be pretty convenient, though, if you're having a conversation with somebody and you kind of want to get out of it and you just shapeshift into, like, a glass of water. It's a really subtle way of saying I'm done talking to you.
Like, you can't continue having a conversation with a glass of water. You're forced to just walk away.
Or like a statue.
Oh, that'd be fun.
You just marbleize yourself.
You just scare the fuck out of people. They come up to you, stare at the statue, like, oh my god, what's this about? And you just turn back into yourself.
Or what about like an animal? Like, what animal would you want to be able to change into?
Oh god.
I mean, I guess birds because they can fly.
Yeah.
But I don't really fuck with birds as a whole.
I mean,
maybe like a dolphin, so I could do echolocation.
Oh, that'd be fun. That'd be neat. For some reason, my head went to bats, but I don't know.
Echolocation.
Yeah. What would your if you had to choose one then, what would your superpower
So
be?
I feel like I would want a power that I could easily disguise as almost like a natural talent, so people wouldn't regard me as being better than them because I have a superpower, but better than them because I'm talented. So I would want the ability to like imitate anyone's voice, and then I'd be a really successful like cartoon voice actor or something.
Oh, that's fun.
Or like I could do like impressions and be a comedian, or work for the CIA, be a spy and make phone calls and be like, oh yes, Vladimir Putin, I sound just like your wife right now. Tell me the secrets, you know? So
we could be really good government agents. If I'm just shapeshifting and you can,
I think we'd have to do like not like a buddy cop thing, but like partners in crime.
Yeah, for sure.
But we don't work for the government. We definitely, we're free
Freelance,
agents.
Yeah.
But yeah,
the government would be our bitch.
I could change my voice. I could sing too. I could get a record deal.
Yeah. Should be Lady Gaga.
Whitney.
Honestly, yeah.
I could. You shapeshift into Whitney. I do the voice, and you lip sync to me, and we do a reunion tour.
Oh my god. It'd be genius.
Or who's the one that
respectfully Whitney, of course.
Yeah. Who I'm trying to think of who like everyone Tupac. Everyone thinks that Tupac isn't really dead.
Oh
and
yeah.
He's like living on an island or something.
Dude, and we could literally just like,
sell out.
Yeah.
That'd be shitty though. I bet Tupac has family and they'd be pretty upset about that. But
yeah.
But we could be regarded as really good impressionists.
I mean,
know?
hey, I'm not there to fight crime. I don't want that smoke.
Like, I'll fight personal crime, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if I have some beef with somebody, like, I'll use my powers to fuck around. Or, like, if somebody comes to me and they're like, you know, my wife has been murdered, help me. And I, for some reason, feel the need to help them, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. It's the what's in it for me.
Yeah, truly. When superheroes are like, oh, I have to use my powers for the greater good, like, fucking says who?
You could just be a really shitty superhero.
Oh, you're so morally superior, aren't you?
Yeah.
Like, no, where are the superheroes who just, like, use their shit to heat up their coffee and make their own lives a little bit easier? Maybe help out somebody on a good day, but, like...
Just doing some mundane tasks, like, a lot more efficiently than everyone else.
Yeah, exactly. Why doesn't Mr. Incredible have a landscaping company? Tell me that. Explain to me. He could probably mow a lawn so fast.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Or Elastigirl with her arms.
Yeah.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Why didn't they just start their own business? Instead, Bob is literally, like, about to fucking kill himself.
This is a little bit weird because this is both a children's movie and a cartoon. So I don't really know how appropriate this segment is, but you have to fuck, marry, kill the cast of this movie.
Okay.
What is your situation?
Fuck, marry, kill. I mean, yeah, I'd say fuck Elastigirl, marry Frozone, kill Syndrome? I don't know.
Okay, that's
pretty tame.
I would only critique you're gonna marry Frozone, but you have to share a bed with him, and don't you think his feet are probably really cold?
I mean, you think?
Do you think he has, like, a low body temp? You're trying to cuddle with him, and he just, like, is at a low 62?
He just seems like someone that could be, like, easy in a marriage. I feel like Elastigirl is just not my cup of tea. I don't think I could do it. But I mean, Frozone, like...
He seems like he loves his wife. He talks to her in kind of a degrading way, but I bet that's mutual. You know, she yells kind of back at him a little bit. So
yeah.
They've got a nice back and forth. I want to know, her name is Honey. What's Honey's deal? Is she a superhero? Can she control bees? I bet she can control bees. That'd be cool.
That would be a really cool superpower. Well, okay, what's yours? Out of the whole cast, and then we'll whittle it down.
I am no doubt marrying Edna Mode.
Oh, yeah. Fuck. That's a good call. That's a really good call.
Her setup, that house, the security system, the resources, the technology. She seems like a romp, you know.
You just be her bitch, though.
That's, honestly, I'll take it.
That's not a bad deal.
It's the trade-off that I'm willing. And, you know, I bet she's got love in her heart somewhere.
You just gotta find it.
Yeah, so I'm definitely gonna marry Edna. I'm gonna fuck Bon Voyage. Out of respect. You know, I gotta respect the name, respect the game.
I mean, he was robbing the bank, so I can get behind that if it's a big, like, national bank. He just said,
maybe he's not, you know, maybe he just is acting out of self-interest. But, you know, he's got a nice build, French accent. I'm gonna fuck Bon Voyage.
Nice build?
I don't know.
His legs look like toothpicks. Bro, you'd break them, man.
I just toss him around a little bit. And then, I don't know if this is, like, a cop-out, but the guy who was trying to kill himself in the beginning of the movie,
I'm
just gonna kill him because he's so pissed that his life got saved that he goes through a lawsuit. And if you already want to kill yourself, the last thing in the world you want is to fucking go to court. So I'm gonna kill that guy. He'd want it.
Yeah, no, that's actually really kind of you. Hold on. Okay, so I've got three. I've got two
sets of three.
Two sets of three.
Oh, okay.
I'm free to go through. Okay. Fuck, marry, kill. Frozone, Edna, Mirage.
Oh, that's hard because I want to fuck them all. I'm still sticking with that. I'm gonna marry Edna. I'm gonna fuck Frozone. No, I'm gonna fuck Mirage. Fuck Frozone. I'll kill Frozone.
I think I agree with your...
Yeah, I'm gonna marry Edna, fuck Mirage. Mirage seems like a pillow princess, though. You know, she's so hot that she's used to not having to work for it.
That's true.
So she probably just lays there, but I'll still pick her.
Yeah.
Because I still stand by my statement that I think Frozone probably has really cold hands and feet.
Do you think his dick is just an icicle?
An icicle. Oh. And I just, he's trying to feel you up and his hands are just ice cold, and that's not going to be good for anybody.
Fair assessment. Okay, but the other one, and this is just for all of the shitty characters. So it's fuck, marry, kill, Syndrome, Dash's teacher, and then Bob's boss.
Oh, okay. I was actually thinking...
So you've thought about this?
Well, because when we were watching the movie, I was kind of assessing my options here. And not for personal interest, but serving the greater good... I think if Syndrome could just bust a nut, he would maybe stop being such a dick. So if I did, like I said, prior to this movie, if he just had gotten laid, I think he would have just turned to a better life. So I'm gonna fuck Syndrome just to prevent all of this hoopla. I guess I'm gonna marry... I'm actually gonna make my second choice once again, trying to serve the greater good, and I'm gonna marry Dash's teacher. That man seems like he just needs a little love. A nice warm meal to come home to, a wife who loves him. He's a middle school teacher, so his job is probably pretty shitty. So I would hopefully improve that man's life.
I think you could.
With my presence. So I'd pick him, and then I guess fucking insurance. That guy was a piece of shit. He was like, "Oh, you are trying to help people at your job?" No. So I'll murder that motherfucker.
Yeah, I agree with you on marrying Dash's teacher. Just because, honestly, his anger is entirely justified. Like, Dash was being a little shit in his class, and he caught him.
Did you see the shape of that man's head, though? It looked like Arnold with a football head.
That's true, that's very true. But I mean, I like, as long as he, shaved the rest of his head, and he left the mustache, it'd be
a bald
fine.
man with a mustache? Hey, I'm down.
It's alright.
I was gonna say let him keep the weird little balding hair, but no, that's not cool. Have him shave the hair.
Shave the hair. That's the one
one condition.
The one condition of our marriage is that he shaves his little side hairs. And then, honestly, strictly for the one reason that I can manhandle the shit out of him, I would fuck Bob's boss.
He probably likes to get pegged.
Right?
I mean,
that's even more of a plus.
He's like a pent-up businessman. He definitely has that energy of I'm the boss at work, but not in the bedroom.
Exactly. And then kill Syndrome because he just sucks.
Yeah, fuck Syndrome. Fuck, he's got where's my hug energy, and I'm not.
I don't like that. That's a whole lot of weakness for a man that claims to be so powerful. I don't fuck with that.
He's mentally weak. It's because he just needs a hug. Maybe.
Yeah, you gonna give it to him? I won't.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's how you let them win. And so, theoretically, in a world where COVID is not so omnipresent in our lives, and you are hosting an incredible, not themed necessarily, but a shindig, a soiree, a get-together, where you are watching The Incredibles, what is the menu? What's on the menu?
Okay, so for us, we went with, what was it? It was,
bacon-wrapped scallops and Gruyere prosciutto croissants.
Yeah.
Like pigs in a blanket, kind of, but fancy as fuck.
Yeah, I think the pigs in a blanket is certainly a move. This is very, it kind of tries to be, a pretty, American, 60s, you know what I mean?
Family-friendly food.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the pigs in a blanket really fits that. Pigs in a blanket to whatever extent.
Yeah.
You could go, the full, traditional pigs in a blanket, or you could do it,
Hot
fancy.
dogs freak me out, so I go with, a nice little ham
And that's
product.
a good call.
It's my personal preference. That's what we ate, and honestly, I don't think you have to go too thematic with the food here. I think just, movie snack food is good. And then we decided that for a drink, any grenadine-based kind of fruity cocktail. It's a kids movie, so it's light and fun. The only, alcoholic beverage that they really bring up is in the movie is a mimosa, but this is not a brunch film.
No, not at all.
This is not like a Sunday, we're gonna watch a movie and have mimosas. This is not it.
I think a Dirty Shirley would certainly fit the bill on this one.
Yeah, or like a fruit punch and rum type of situation.
Yeah. Nothing too fancy. You're not looking for anything crazy.
Yeah, it is a Disney movie.
Yeah, a little bit of red in your drink for color and just for the fun of it, you know what I mean? But also, grenadine makes everything easy to drink, and I'm not looking for something, like, difficult. This isn't, like, James Bond. We're not drinking martinis.
I don't want to be suffering more than I already have to be.
Exactly.
It's a double feature. What are you following this movie up with?
See, that's a great question, because I think where most people would go is the obvious and say Incredibles 2, but I don't think that's the case.
Fuck that.
So...
Fuck a cash grab sequel.
Because my gut tells me to also go in a superhero theme.
I mean, I was just gonna go with another Pixar, like Ratatouille.
You think?
Just do another... I mean, I guess if you're not already, like, mentally worn out from watching a children's movie, I think Ratatouille's a good watch at any age, and it's the same director, so you kind of have...
Oh, that's fun. I didn't know that.
Fun fact that I didn't know is that the director of this movie, Brad Bird, he voices Edna Mode, which I think is pretty funny.
I really like that. Yeah.
But yeah, he also did Ratatouille. He also did The Iron Giant from...
Oh, no way!
Yeah, from 99, and it was considered to be a big flop, so Disney was kind of hesitant on hiring him for The Incredibles in 2004, and I think that The Iron Giant is an amazing movie, so...
Yeah, I think a lot of people in our age, like...
are nostalgic about it,
Yeah, people certainly grew up with that movie. I'm surprised it was considered a flop, honestly.
I mean, fuck the box office, but so yeah, he did Iron Giant, The Incredibles 1 and 2, and then Ratatouille are his, like, most notable kids movies.
Okay, I think I've come up with a good second film if you're watching 2 in a row. If you're not looking for anything animated, but still want to keep on with the superhero theme, I think something like, and mind you, probably not watch this one with your kids, maybe Deadpool, that could be a fun follow-up. Or if it is looking for something more children-friendly, maybe like Shazam or something like that.
Oh, I don't know that one, but I definitely agree with Deadpool. Kind of like similar energy. If you're already watching The Incredibles, you're probably in kind of that, like, mood to not take anything too seriously.
Yeah.
Or you could do like a full 180 and you could watch like...
Oh god, Sophie's Choice.
I was gonna go for like something like gory and horrible, but...
That's emotionally gory.
Yeah. Sophie's Choice. So obviously there's no way to objectively grade a movie because different movies accomplish different things in different ways. So even just as an animated movie, you can't always compare them to other things. So giving it a rating doesn't necessarily mean anything, but we're gonna do it anyways. And I personally believe in the 1 to 10 scale because if it's a star situation and it's a 1 to 5 stars, I just think of them in half quantities anyways, and then I pick my out of 10 and then I just divide it in half, so I don't see why the world isn't just on a 1 to 10 scale.
Yeah, it doesn't quite make sense. I don't love the 5-star idea, but I mean, I think 1 to 10 is a lot more effective, but
I also
to each their own.
I don't want to abide by any sort of American education system value of percentages. Like, if you give a movie a 5 out of 10, that's not a fail. That's just the midpoint. A 0 is the lowest and a 10 is the highest. I feel like, if you say a movie is a 6 out of 10, that's still pretty good because that's better than average,
Exactly.
So that's just my stance on it. Ratings are stupid, but here we go. So for The Incredibles, oh god, yeah, I guess I'll give it like a 6 or a 6.5 out of 10.
I was also gonna say 6.5.
Yeah.
It's hard because there's a big nostalgia factor here, at least for me, and probably for you as well, since we all grew up on this. But it's a good movie. It's entertaining. I think it does what it's supposed to.
It's fun to watch. I definitely agree. 6.5.
Yeah. It's better than average.
It's a good little romp.
Yeah, it's certainly a fun movie. I think you can watch it at any age, personally. Animation-wise, this was probably one of the best movies, or animated movies of the early 2000s. I think it did a fantastic job and probably stood out, but I couldn't say back then because I was 5.
Well, yeah, no, I definitely especially, like, if you watch Bug's Life, that shit is so clunky, and they were trying to go for that 3D effect, but it just wasn't there yet, and I definitely agree that this is one of the first movies that was visually very much a reflection of the technological advancements that had been made for animation, so definitely a pillar of accomplishment for Pixar, and I think they've certainly made better movies and they've made worse movies.
Yeah.
But I think it's a fun movie. Yeah. So yeah, 6 out of 10.
Yeah, it's a staple. It's a classic.
All right, so thank you so much for listening. We will hopefully be releasing episodes on a weekly basis. Like I said before, if you have any recommendations or comments, please feel free to follow us on both Twitter and Instagram at The Swamp Podcast.